Questions for reflection. The first reading from the Hebrew prophet Isaiah is eschatological. It speaks of the destiny the Lord has for his people. If we put our hope in him, if we choose to live our lives for him, he will not only care for us in this life, but has prepared an eternal destiny of joy for us in the life to come. David, the psalmist, in our response refers to that as well. Do we believe this? Do we live our lives now as if there even is a life to come? In our second reading, we have another excerpt from the letter the Apostle Paul sent to the Philippians. He explains one of the key elements of living our lives as if we believe there is an eternal punishment or reward which awaits us. How we relate to the goods of the earth. Paul writes, I know how to live modestly, and I know how to live luxuriously too. In every way now I have mastered the secret of all conditions. Full stomach and empty stomach, plenty and poverty. There is nothing I cannot do in the one who strengthens me. Now that is living faith. That is the path to freedom in this life and a participation in the life to come, beginning even now. Do we know that we can do all things through the one who strengthens us? In our gospel passage, Jesus uses a parable to once again speak into our hearts. In the biblical language, the heart is not simply the organ at the center of our chest, but that place deep within, where we make our most fundamental choices about life. He tells us that the kingdom of heaven may be likened to a king who gave a wedding feast for his son. It is not accidental that the Bible, from beginning to end, uses marriage as a metaphor and a symbol to reveal the plan of God. Marriage was God's plan from the beginning, as we see in the first book of Genesis. Throughout the Old Testament, the Lord speaks through his messengers to remind Israel that he has espoused her to himself. Then, in the fullness of time, he sent the bridegroom, Jesus the Christ, his only Son, to initiate the new Israel, the church, through his saving incarnation, his conception, life, and redemptive death. At the cross, he espoused himself to the church, which is now his bride. The wedding language informs the entirety of the New Testament, culminating with the wedding feast of the Lamb, which opens the portal of the mystery to reveal God's plan fulfilled in eternity. This is the mystery to which the Apostle Paul so often points in his letters to the early churches. For example, at the end of his profoundly important instructions about marriage to the early church, found in Ephesians chapter 5, he opens the mystery up with this line, and I quote, "This is a profound mystery, but I am talking about Christ and the church." The church is the bride of Christ. There will be no giving or taking in marriage in the kingdom to come, because the very purpose of marriage itself will be fulfilled. See Mark's Gospel, chapter 12, verses 18 to 27. We will be living in the fullness of the communion of love with the Trinity. The symbol will give way to the eternal reality. The sacrament will be fulfilled in the fullness of communion. All of human love will be completed in the love which lasts forever. We have all been invited to the wedding feast of the Lamb. Read about it in Revelations 19. How are we living our lives in response? Are we clothing ourselves in virtue by cooperating with grace and growing in holiness? Are we getting ready for the marriage feast of the Lamb? That's how the final book of the Bible, the book of Revelation, refers to the end of the age and the beginning of the kingdom to come. Are we preparing ourselves for the eternal wedding day?